Hello there. If you're in any way familiar with the Japanese culture, you've probably come across something called a tanuki. For those of you who have no idea what in the high hell that is, allow me to introduce you to it by showing you this. I assure you there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this. Today I learned the history behind the tanuki's magical mansack. The tanuki is a creature unique to Japan. It's an animal that is native to Japan. Clearly I didn't proofread this. It bears a strong resemblance to a raccoon, but the main difference between the tanuki and the raccoon is that it's not. In English, it's normally referred to as a raccoon dog, even though it's neither a raccoon nor a dog. Anyway, it's not an uncommon sight in front of many shops and restaurants in Japan to see statues of tanuki with comically large bollocks. So pervasive is the big bald raccoon dog in Japanese culture that there is even a children's song about it.
Wow!
Wow indeed, Little Red Riding Hood. As you can see, the real tanuki is nowhere nearly as endowed as its depictions make it out to be. So I decided to ask some older and wiser Japanese acquaintances of mine about why the tanuki has such ginormous grapes. I was hoping they'd give me the lowdown on the low-hanging fruit, but to my surprise, they all said that they didn't know. How do you not know? You've never questioned this? You mean to tell me that in your 4 or whatever decades of life it never occurred to you to Wikipedia that shit? You know, maybe I'm just a little too Western, seeing how I distinctly remember the first time I walked by a statue of a raccoon thing with god-tier cojones and I went, hold up. I mean, I'm pretty sure balls are meant to stay within certain parameters. I guarantee you that if your baby came out with balls bigger than its head, you'd probably go, hold up. So since their answers weren't of any particular help, I took it upon myself to look it up. So I thought I'd take the time to share with you why this is a thing. You see, according to Japanese folklore, the tanuki spirit is a magical megadouche that loves to play pranks and cause general mischief. It has the power of shape-shifting and uses its transformation powers to deceive people, turning into things like teapots, trees, even people. They would even turn into government officials to scare people into paying their taxes and pocket the money. They activate their shape-shifting powers by placing a leaf on their head. Many are also depicted to have giant bellies that they beat on like drums. Now about these nuts. Legend has it that tanuki also use their balls as weapons, coverings, and even beat on them like drums. Yikes. Some people might be surprised to find that the story of the tanuki's bodacious bell clappers has nothing to do with sexual virility or anything boring like that. Here's what most historians seem to agree on. The origin of the gargantuan gonads is said to date back to the 19th century metalworkers of the Kanazawa prefecture. Aspiring to make the thinnest sheets of gold foil possible, metalworkers would wrap balls of gold in tanuki scrotum and then proceed to hammer the gold into sheets. Hopefully after detaching it from the animal. In fact, the tanuki sack is so durable apparently that it's said to be able to stretch to the size of 8 tatami mats. Throughout my research, I was really wondering why this bit of information didn't seem to give anyone pause, as if it's just a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Personally, I don't think I possess the creativity or cleverness to look at a random woodland creature and go, I wonder how far your balls stretch. In any case, because of this, the scrotal sacks of the tanuki became popular charms and wallets because they were said to stretch money just as they can stretch gold. God bless Japan. Here's something interesting. If you've ever played this classic called Super Mario 3, you might remember something called the tanuki suit that enabled Mario various powers, including the ability to fly. Based on the legends of the tanuki spirit, this is why he's able to shapeshift into a statue to deceive his enemies, and why he's granted these powers by grabbing a leaf. Who knew this game went balls deep in Japanese folklore? Makes me wonder why they didn't keep the magical dangly bits aspect. Would have made for a very interesting game. Can you imagine how that would have gone at Nintendo headquarters? I'm liking this tanuki suit idea. He shapeshifts, he flies, and he does it with the power of his super scrotum. You're kidding, right? No, I'm perfectly serious. You don't see a problem with that. Nope. Really? They didn't have much of a problem with him taking magic mushrooms, so... touche. So that's what I learned today. All in all, it was like an informational Pyrrhic victory that left me with far more questions than I started out with. I'm Sevi and thanks for learning with me today. If you'd like, feel free to click the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. And I sincerely hope you do to make this video worth it, because I just spent more time drawing animal nards than I'd like to admit, and it makes me justifiably uncomfortable. Until next time.